All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So welcome to August, and it's that time again where we do our monthly window shopping episode. If you don't know what that is, I have a playlist in the description. Basically, every month we look at the trends on the marketplace, at least here on the NA server, and even if you are on a different server than I am, it's probably a good idea to at least see what kind of trends are happening. Like, for example, the past few weeks we got the free pen Black Star, so that definitely tanked the Black Star market. But anyway, I like to talk about all the notable items, so whether you're a beginner, a returning player, or veteran, you can see what's good to buy, sell, enhance, and hopefully make some profit. So yeah, this is our monthly episode, and we'll talk about all the notable items. I'll also give you some tips and stuff on self-enhancing stuff that I think may be important. So as usual, let's go start off with the main hands. Okay, so if you're a new player, chances are you have a free Tet and Pen Black Star from the giveaway. Just like, well, I think it's permanent now. All you have to do is get to like level 61, do the story, and then it gives you like a Tet and Pen Black Star. So yeah, recently we made a video on, is Godder still worth making? And so you guys can watch that video. It's recent on the channel, so we're not really going to talk about that much. But in terms of prices, I think you can get it at minimum price for most classes, and if you don't, just weapon exchange coupon. But TLDR, if you can buy it at Tet and then try to slam it yourself to Pen, that's probably going to be the way to go, because you cannot convert Black Star to Godder at Tet. Like, if yours is at Tet right now, you cannot convert back from purple to red unless it's Pen. So just keep that in mind. With sovereign weapons coming out in the near future, it has to be Pen to convert. So maybe we'll get more details in the future, but as of right now, if you can get Tet, that's awesome. But just know that you either have to slam it to Pen for the future, or you're going to be selling it back to the market for a loss. But is it a good upgrade? Yeah, it's definitely a good temporary upgrade. But yeah, with that said, Black Star is for the most part the way to go. If you're enhancing this for profit, just don't enhance the main or awakening. The offhand is still okay, but not the main hand and awakening. So if you're going for Pen unironically for yourself because you want your name on it, here's what I would do. Get a Tet, raw tap it to Pen. It either goes or it goes back to try. And if it goes back to try, sell it back to the market, slam another one, and then something will happen. But anyway, Tet Black Stars, ever since they gave the free Tet one and then the free Pen one, the price is probably never going to recover. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. If you're going to enhance a Black Star for profit, it's the offhand that you want to do. But yeah, it's a good time if you want to buy one for some reason, even though you should have two free ones at this point. And even if you're starting today, you still get a Pen. The main hand is always worth taking for the free one, just because it gives a bunch of accuracy and everything. So I have a video on that in more detail. Okay, next we are going over the awakening weapons. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we look at, but Dandy versus Black Star. As the years go by, Dandelion is starting to fade out of relevance. It used to be the only one that was available, but now it's either Black Star or Godder. My stance still stands for the Godder. I would stay with Black Star until we figure out what's happening with sovereign weapons. But yeah, the price of that basically the same as the main hand at an all-time low. So if you have a Tet Black Star, it's fine to just hold on to that, or raw tap it until he goes to Pen, and then should be okay. But yeah, aside from that, awakening and sub weapons or main hand are basically the same, and same stance on everything. All right, sub weapons, your offhand. These are a little bit different just because there's a lot more options. So if you're a new player, Nuver is for PvP, and Kudum is for PvE. Why? Because this gives a lot of extra monster damage. So for example, if you're new, and let me just explain this real quick. Extra AP against monsters, PvE. And so like the overall AP, let's just say it's 1-to-1. It's very close. It's like 0.8 to 1 for species. So extra AP against monsters is plus 62. So that's essentially, like, for simplicity's sake, plus 62 AP on top of your 32. And then Neuver is basically more, but less for monsters and then higher for all damage, so including PvP. So this is why Neuver is a PvP offhand. So let's see the prices. Neuver is going up, even though PvP is falling out of relevance as the years go by. But that's good. I think everyone should get a Neuver at some point, just to have it. And let's see, Kudums. More people in games in general. This isn't just a BDO problem. It's just like all the MMOs and stuff. Most people are PvEers. That's just the way it is. And so Kudum has been slowly fading out. But also because Black Star offhands are a little bit more relevant. So I think if you're trying to enhance a Black Star for profit, obviously this one is worth a lot more than the sub and main and awakening. So this is not one to go to. And yeah, that's about it. Like, if you are a new player and you have a Kudum, it's perfectly fine. The difference between a Pen Kudum Capris 20 versus a Pen Black Star is you're trading off a little bit of accuracy for a little bit more of AP against monsters. So yes, Black Star is technically better, but at the very high end. And aside from that, like, will you notice a difference? Not really, unless you are already in like the 750 plus gear score area and then you're min-maxing each kill. So for a majority of people, will it make a difference? No. What I would recommend for people is, do you like red or purple? Yeah, so then get all your Black Stars and make them just look similar. If you don't care and you already have a Kudum at max, then that's fine. Wait for something to actually make a difference before you upgrade. All right, so we're gonna look at armors now. I'm gonna try to speed through this one and just talk about it. So first and foremost, your ultimate goal is to get Labresca, and you get that from boss gear and plus a flame. So one of these flames, like the Flame of Despair, Frost, Resonance, and this Flame of thing from Land in the Morning Light. So a lot of these are a grind, admittedly. So like the Flame of Resonance is one from the Ulakita area, and so it's the newest one, also going to be the most expensive, so keep that in mind. Anyway, the way to go is Labresca. If you are self-enhancing, I'll tell you what stacks at least I used, and let's see. Okay, so from base to pry, I usually start at around a 70 stack to maybe 100. And then from Pry to Duo, I would probably recommend, like, if you have a 100 stack, you probably have a bunch of 100 stacks from all the event rewards. That plus the Valkyrie, you should be at like 115 average or something. 115 from Pry to Duo, that's a good start. And then up to like 150 or something. And then from Duo to Try, I'd recommend starting at like a 150 up to 200. And then from Try to Tet, I use personally a 245 on all of my pieces. Like, all of my Fallen God armors are self-enhanced, and they got to Tet. I did like 245 Kronstoned on 2 of them, and then the last piece kind of was a struggle, and I just kept building off of that one while trying to make a Pen Black Star. My second one that you can watch a series for, but I used like a 270 on that one. But either way, I think around 250 is a good Try to Tet stack. And also the reason why is because this is like still pretty expensive. It's probably the most expensive item on the market that's like, you know, not the pen version that's stupid expensive and basically impossible to obtain. So yeah, use your highest stack on this. If you have a 300, that's a little bit high, but I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone for using a 300 on this one, just because like the price is pretty insane. But if you are on the higher end of like 280 stacking up, you could probably save that for like a pen accessory, a Deboreka more specifically. So anyway, those are the stacks I use personally. But yeah, Griffin versus Gaiath. I think Gaiath is slightly more relevant just because all resistance plus 5 is worth a little bit more than 100 HP. So not getting CC'd in PvP and PvE is overall better than 100 extra HP pool. But ultimately, is it relevant? Not really. So what would I do? Get the Griffin, get the Pen C20. That's kind of expensive. That's 17 billion, but whatever. Like, and then Gaiath is 16. Get whatever one is cheaper, and then get the Capra Stones, and then make your own Libresca or Fallen God armor in this case. So yeah, 17 billion. It's kind of high, actually. I think in the current state of game, more people are usually in the mid area. So like, you're not past 700 gear score, but you're working towards it. So I think that's the majority of the player base. And yeah, it's kind of at this stage. I don't know if people are enhancing this or profit, just because enhancing boss gear is not really the way to go, just because the enhanced rates to everything is not so good. But I mean, I don't think this is a bad choice. I don't think it's super profitable either, but you can do it. All right, armors. Fallen God, same stacks as I recommended before. The difference is Red Nose and Dim Tree uses different amount of Capra Stones. And let's see, what are the prices for this? Red Nose is 17 as of 1 month ago. This was like 15 bill, now it's 17. I think realistically, if you put it on min price, you can get it within a day. And the difference is Dim Tree is 15. However, keep in mind that Dim Tree requires a little bit more Capra Stones to get to Capra's 10 if your goal is to self-craft your Fallen God armor. So just make sure to calculate how much you're spending on Capra Stones as well, to make sure it's not like, you might as well just buy this one straight up at price, skip the entire process, and then enhance it using the stacks I told you. But if it were me, I would just buy it at like Duo and then slam the rest, because I think unironically most people can make Tet for cheaper than the market price. That's the real thing. So anyway, gloves. This is where things branch off from evasion and DR up into Fallen God evasion and DR. So Begs goes into the blue, as in like he upgrades into the blue. Libers upgrades into green. You can swap it from green to blue or blue to green, so it's not a big deal. If you feel like you messed up, you can just swap it. It's no big deal. Just go to the same vendor that you got it from, and you can like swap it alternative with a few materials. So anyway, Begs gloves. Let's see how much this cost. 16 billion. You can get it for 15. Let's put it on minimum price order. Levers are 14. So this is a little bit of a trap. Just look at it. So for example, 62 DP, but the real stats you really want to be looking for are the like text under the DP, so evasion and then damage reduction. So like for example, this one gives a lot of evasion but less DR. But what people look at as a beginner is all you see is that 62 number, because that 62 number goes onto your sheet right here. But this is also a beginner trap, because this one, it gives a little bit of, well, it's different, but then you look at the evasion, it's less, but DR is higher. I think they actually changed it, because the accuracy was 25 on Libra before, and then they made it so it's more equalized. However, damage reduction is still nice, and it gives 62, but less evasion. So for most people, Beg's Glove is the way to go. If your goal is just a straight push until the Dawn's Gloves, then just get whichever one. I would still just get whatever one is cheapest, but I think if you're using this for a long period of time, just get the Beg's Glove and then convert it. So for most people, Begs into the blue one is the way to go. But yeah, that's about it. Roughly the same price. All right, Ator Shoes versus Evasion DR. So Uragon is the DR version, and then Muskin is the Evasion version. Let's see. 16 billion or 14 billion. You can probably get it for minimum if you're patient enough. So the price is slowly going down for the past month. I think this one is a special case simply because Uragon's or the shoes, the Ator shoes, are the newest one to get Fallen God or like the upgrade version. And so it is hard to get simply because the way you get it would be from the Ulakita area, which is a high-end grind spot. So it's really for like people who are on the upper end of the gear score. But yeah, Evasion. Let's see. 15. Yeah, it's roughly the same price. So this one, keep in mind, DP 79, but you get 90 evasion and plus 14 on the damage reduction side. This one, on the other hand, is 45 and then 41. So if you're DR route, you're going for Uragons, and then Muskin is evasion. Same enhanced stacks. I would work on the Ator shoes last, simply because it's the hardest to obtain and also the most expensive one right now. So you can get the same stats by getting the other pieces first. All right, accessories. Let me just quickly give you the rundown on accessories. Debarekas are going to be your max AP accessories. So if you want bigger number, get Debareka. Accuracy accessories are kind of in a slump right now just because the current meta is just straight up AP. So every month we see the trend of this falling off. That goes for basically every accuracy accessory. Do I think they're bad? No, I think they're fine. But just right now in the current meta, they're like not the greatest. So if you have it, I would probably still hold on to it just in case the price ever does go up. And yeah, it's like there's no reason to sell it unless it gets completely phased out permanently and is like a straight up better thing. But currently these are the best accuracy accessories. They're just not used right now. So if you have it, I would just hold on to it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, just be very cautious if you're considering buying a like accessory in general. But like if you're buying it to use it, it's still not bad. All right, so Debarekas, I assume they're all going to be the same price because Debarekas are what most people have, myself included. So pens are always going to be 300 billion. That's for at least the foreseeable future, simply because they are the best in slot. And the fact that someone sold a pen one for 300 last week is kind of wild. Slowly but surely, Tet Debos are going down in price to their like natural 60 billion range. What else is relevant? If you're a new player, you're probably using Crescents or Eye of the Ruins. I personally think that Eye of the Ruins right now is not a bad choice, just because if you want more survivability and everything, the 130 HP plus if you add blue cups to it will give you a lot of HP and survivability. So I think that's also a good option. Would I buy Tungrad rings anymore? Unless you have 5 pieces for the effect, I think honestly I would skip it and go straight to Debareka. Unless you're using it for some, like the rage very specifically for PvP. I think it's not a bad set to have. I just don't think that I would rather have Debarekas for overall like consistent damage, whereas the Tungrad, if you used 100% or the Black Spirit Rage, you're getting big burst damage, but it's not like consistent flat damage. So like, for example, if you know that Stonks meme where it's like going up and then that's your damage and then it goes back down to normal, whereas if you're using Deboreka, it's just like a higher floor and you're doing consistent damage. That's the best way to put it. But I don't think either of them are bad options. I just rather have consistent like averages. All right, so next we have Deboreka. We're just going to look at it, but it's roughly the same. Deboreka necklaces are probably the ones you want to go for first, simply because they give the most AP output. It is also the first one that ever came out from Ash Forest, so that's why the prices is a little bit lower. And yeah, I think like this is the first Deboreka one you should go for Pen, even Tet, quite honestly. In terms of Ogre, Leighton, and Tungrad, the only one that's worth getting now is Tungrad Necklace for the 5-piece set effect. Ogre and Leighton, if you're considering doing that, just get Deboreka. Just get a Tet one these days and you'll be fine. Lunar Necklace. This is probably the biggest drop-off I've ever seen in terms of accessory. I remember if you were to ask me this about like a year and a half ago, I was considering getting one of these at like 180 billion silver. I'm glad I never did, simply because I just didn't have the money for it. So I think I dodged a bullet there, but I actually considered it. And then here we are now. It's probably gonna hit 10 billion next week when we do the, or next month when we do this video. So yeah, once again, I always said, be careful when buying accuracy accessories, just because things like this can happen when it goes from hard 200 to minimum. All right, so yeah, once again, if you have it, I think you should just hold on to it as like a trophy or something, or like a memento of, hey, I got this at one point, especially if your name's on it. Other than that, these are really the only options. If you're a full DR build, the River one is straight tanky. Other than that, Deboreka is the way to go for, I think, most people, simply because just the accuracy it gives is a lot. So even at Tet level is 34. And so, yeah, I think this is probably the way to go. All right, let's talk about belts first and then earrings. Deboreka, once again, the same thing. All of them are going to equalize at around 60 billion eventually. Maybe even go lower. But as of right now, let's just say the average for a Tet is 60 billion. Pen is going to be obviously maxed. Turo belts for accessories. I don't think the Turo belt's that bad, to be honest. Like, if you were to get one, you could probably swap out one of your earrings and still hold off on the 5-piece, but the belt is not a bad option. So, beginners to mid-level players, Voltara is also a solid option just because it gives more HP. And once again, if you're just trying to play a little bit tankier of a build, but not actually lose out on too much damage, Voltara is a solid option for you. Plus, you can put the blue cup on it to give you an extra 6 damage reduction. So, here's the one unique thing, the Tabex belt. I think this is more used in PvP and very situational like moments. You see this ability under the tooltip, right? So it's like from pry all the way to pen. Basically, it gives you the burst window of you. When you have it, it gives you a special skill. And the special skill gives you AP DP accuracy for 1 minute. However, the thing is, if you use the skill, you can't unequip your belt, and you have to use it for another 9 minutes while the cooldown is on happening on it. So it gives you a burst window for you and your allies for a minute, which I see is used more in PvP play than anything else. So if you are a strictly PvEer, I think this is a skip. But if you are a large-scale PvPer, this is an option for at least a few people. You could be that guy that has it and then everyone wants you. So aside from that, The trade-off is actually pretty insane for AP. So like for a pen, Deboreka is 24, but this one's 17. So you're losing 7 AP, and that could be potentially 2 brackets of AP, which is a lot. However, you get your 1 minute burst window every 10 minutes, which kind of irrelevant. I think if I were to have fixed this item, and not fix it, but I just mean like make it more relevant, what I would do is lower the cooldown from 10 minutes to like 3 to 5 minutes. And I think that would make this more usable, because like a 10-minute cooldown to have -2 brackets of AP is kind of wild. And like sometimes I've seen people use the skill and then get bursted down in PvP, and then you still have the cooldown, but you can't swap your belt either. So it's kind of one of those things where it doesn't always work out, but when it does, you can make big plays. But I'd rather have, like, once again, consistent damage versus that spike damage and then going back down to normal. All right, so anyway, that's about it. If you're going for AP, Deboreka's are the way to go. If you're making weird plays like this, Tabex belt is fine. I don't think it's super needed, but it's fine. Accuracy for Turos, and then Voltara for a little bit of tankier option. So let's go talk about earrings, because this one, earrings are like always going to be the last one you upgrade, simply because there's a lot of other slots. So personally, if you're going to 5 Deboreka route, then you're going to have 1 extra slot. You don't use 2 earrings. That's just not a good play. But anyway, because you want 5 pieces and you can obtain that by rings and stuff. So, yeah. Deboreka's versus Distos. Distos are actually more AP. So if you look at the pen side, you get 21 AP. Downside is you lose 5 DP. And people often ask me, when is the good time to switch into Deboreka's? And I think the answer is around like 350 DP without it. So then once you're with it, you're going to be like obviously -8 to 10 at Tet to pen. So like -4 and at -5. So I think that like whenever you can grind Elvia Orcs safely is when you can start swapping into Distos. So you're probably around a 280, 290, or even 270 AP area at this point. And then once you're around like 340 DP with the earrings, should be good to go. Aside from that, Dons and Distos are the exact same thing. So I like to look at this every month and see a little bit of a tip. All right, so Tet Distos are 16 billion. Let's just say that. Tet Vahas. Sometimes you see people have weird orders on it to the point where you could just buy the other one for significantly cheaper. As of today, when I'm looking, they're the same. So, yeah. Either way, Distos versus Vahas are the exact same stats. It's just how you get them. One is from grinding, for the most part, Star's End and a few other Elvia Calpheon spots. Vaha's Dons are from the Ataraxian dungeons. So, it's just how you get them. They're the same, though. Dawn earrings are, the price isn't looking good, but it's still more than it was like the other accessories at Pen that we saw. And the reason why these are still at a higher price is simply because the earring slot is you have 1 open one with 5 Deboreka's. And like this, you could swap out the Deboreka for a Dawn earring and still be fine. Once again, accuracy accessories are more on the PvP side of things. So if you don't PvP, irrelevant, just get more damage, which would be Vahars or Distos, and then you'll be fine. Everything else, Tungrad is for the 5-piece only. If you don't have it, ignore it. Narc earring, if you've done the Old Moon, is also a good option, simply because if you grind out into Kama Sylvia area, it is actually significantly better. All right, so that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. But before we go, I want to talk about one other thing. We're going to talk about Alchemy Stones. All right, so if you're a new player, chances are you're using the Spirit Stone or like, what is it, the Ator's Power Stone. Let me just show you. I don't even remember what character I left it on. Yeah, this one. So you just get this one by doing the Ulukita questline, and it's a rechargeable one that gives 1 permanent AP, and then it's fine for 0 effort. All you have to do is the story. It takes about like maybe an hour or 2. It's 1 free AP. But for everyone else, I also get asked this often, is where is it? Is the Khan's Heart worth getting? If you can do the quest with your guild 3 times, you get a free one basically. So if you can get it for free, that's nice. Would I buy it? Probably not, but I mean, if you can get it for free, that's always better. And then your ultimate goal is to get the Vel's Heart. The Splendid is for like the 1% of players who can actually get it. But aside from that, Vel's Heart for most people is going to be the way to go. And then you upgrade your Vel's Heart. So basically, when you upgrade it, it just gets more DP. So bigger number is better. But aside from that, Vel's Heart, you kind of have to get lucky with it and just put an order and hope you get it. Otherwise, go to Vel every week and hope for the best. But it is definitely worth it just because having a permanent upgrade for this is always nice. Yeah, for me, I'm at the stage in the game where I would like to get a Splendid one day, but that involves being able to actually get one. It's not even silver that's the issue in the long run, but it's getting these and then making it yourself, because when you get one of these, it's a 3% to upgrade into the Splendid, but that's 3% on a 5 bill click, and it's not great. I think I've sunk about maybe 150 billion into Alchemy Stones in total, and I don't have it, so it's like I'm just gonna stick with Vel for the time being. Like, it's not bad, it's just Splendid is the slight upgrade, but only if you are at the 1% already. So, and even then, I don't even think that like my gear is anything special. Like, I was trying to enhance this. Look, I'm at 9 out of 10 Agris going for Tet, like, and that was with a downgrade. We have 3 pen clicks already, and yeah, obviously those didn't go. 2 of them downgraded, like this one, and then I'm at 9 out of 10 trying to get this back. So yeah, that's enhancing for me in a nutshell. So that does not feel good. I'm like legitimately concerned that I might actually just 10 out of 10 and guarantee the Tet, and then we're gonna have to go click it again for pen. So this is actually so sad. It makes me so like unmotivated to play this game just because I fail so much. And then yeah, I assume for your average player this feels even worse. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, drop a like as well. And I've been playing this game for over 8 years, so I like to share the knowledge I've gotten in this game just because it's definitely not an easy one to get into. There's just a lot of stuff you need to learn, but whether you're a new player or veteran, consider subscribing. I make videos for everyone, and I would love to see you come back. So with that said, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.